Do you need for me to give to give you the name of the
trivia?
For the trivia? You know what it is, right?
I have it.
Okay, good. There's that.
It's up here.
It is. It's. What about?
I have this beautiful.
Yeah, we're giving that away this week again. I've got some other posters from Bill Ramsey that we're going to be giving away in the near future too. I just didn't have time to put something together this week. And grips. We'll do some grips from Paul Standard and Preston Petty products this week too. Okay.
So we have poster, we have grips, and we have
stickers. All right.
Yeah. Are you live?
I am live. I've been live since I started.
I don't see that it's live on your phone.
Well, then you better go to another.
Oh, here you go. Okay.
You got it?
I do have it.
Okay, here we go. Everyone, it's Joe Abbate. You're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you for joining me on this lovely evening. I want to thank some of the sponsors. In fact, I want to thank all the sponsors that help us out with the show, including Racer X, the International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, Taco East, Sirius Studios, Vinco, Full Circle Racing, and Preston Petty Products. What else is happening here? We've got a backboard up there. We've got some names on it. If you'd like to become a show supporter, let me know for $49.95. We'll get you a nice shirt. Your choice of shirts is just like this. And also some great gifts from Amsoil. If you don't want to be a sponsor of the show, but yet you want to look stylish in your shop or around the grill, you can get a t-shirt just like this or a nice apron. Aprons are only $20, shipping including in America. I want to thank Steve Bauer and the Big Air Kids Fair, as well as Kurt Flash and Trail Rider Magazine. Don't forget to keep sharing the show, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. Keep sharing the show. Get some people over here to watch Vintage Motocross Q&A with us. Of course she's here. Susie.
Hi.
How's it going, babe?
Is it good?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're enjoying the nice weather we're having here in Northern California?
Yeah, it's a little hot.
A little hot?
But there's no humidity. We love that.
We do. While I have you here, what are you giving away tonight?
Poster.
Yeah, that's for trivia?
That's for trivia.
Right.
And we have some stickers for what's it worth. And we have grips for viewer appreciation.
Oh, yeah, from Paul Standard. He's always really very generous with stuff like that. So we will check back with you as the show progresses. But in the meantime, we've got our Next Time Try This segment. This is a little bit different. I saw this on Facebook, and I asked the person who, his name is Tim Blodgett, actually. I asked him if I could use it on the show, and he agreed. I just thought it was something that was very, very helpful. Could be helpful to a lot of you guys out there who are now dealing with, we have vintage bikes, steel tanks, aluminum, but after 1977, certainly into 78, a lot of bikes had plastic tanks. A problem we often see is something like this: a screw that is rusted in to the well nut that is molded into the plastic tank. Difficult to get out. And if you're not careful, you'll snap it off, or worse, you'll spin that well nut around inside the tank, and then you got a bigger problem. So Tim Blodgett says this works surprisingly well, so I thought I would share it. Tank screws completely rusted into the brass inserts on a 480 Honda tank can be near impossible to remove without damaging the tank or breaking off the screw, leading to a much bigger problem. Neither screw would budge on this tank due to the rust, and the top one starting to twist off and break while not budging in the thread insert. Penetrating oil, I use Croil, just runs off before actually penetrating the threads. My first attempt was to build a dam around the screw and just hot melt it and let the oil just dissolve into the hot melt, leaving again no oil penetrant. Check this out. he took a socket and with a heat gun or with glue, he melted that around there and created himself a little dam there. Solution, what? I guess it's hot glue. He says here, uses penetrating oil, but first attempt was to build a dam around the screw with just hot melt. But the oil just dissolved into the hot melt, leaving again no oil to penetrate. Solution was to use a socket, anyone would work, and hot glue. Hot glue it to the tank and then fill the socket with penetrating oil. I think this is a really, really amazing idea. Here's another shot of it right here. Okay. Top one took about 4 days of soaking to loosen enough to remove. The lower one took only 1 to 2 days. I removed the hot glue with some isopropyl alcohol, IPA, when I was done. And there it is. The screws are out, no damage, and that is real, true American ingenuity. Tim Blodgett, you know what? For letting me use that. If you'd like some vintage motocross Q&A stickers or anything I can do for you from stuff that we do here at Vintage Motocross Q&A, let me know. I would be more than happy for you letting me use something like that. And you know something else, guys, who's ever watching our show tonight? If you have an idea like that, I would love to have it on the show. I love stuff like that. We all learn from it, and it makes great content. For right now, we're going to listen to our sponsor, the Vinco. All right, we're going to hear from Vinco, and then we'll be back with more Vintage Motocross Q&A.
I'm Brock Glover, and you're watching Vintage Motocross Q&A, and we'll be right back.
Vinco, who already has a full line of vintage parts, now has air shocks that are an exact duplicate of the original air shocks so popular in the late 70s. So whether you're looking to build a full racer or museum showpiece, these shocks will give you that incredible 70s look and improve your bike's performance. These new air shocks are fully rebuildable with Vinco rebuild kits, and all shocks are hand assembled in the USA with all new components. Every component is brand new. Just like the originals, our air shocks are adjustable with 2 chambers, high and low pressure, giving you tremendous flexibility for settings of your bike suspension. The Vinco air shocks come fully assembled and ready for installation. Just add air or nitrogen. The kits include the manual and spacers. Visit Vinco.com to check out the air shocks and all that Vinco has to offer to help you get back on track and keep that ride going.
To visit Vinco online, when you spend over $200, you get priority shipping, or free shipping, actually, on any order over $200. I want to thank Eric Weiss, Robert Charles Leidies, Alan Huie, Ray Lindsay, Achilles Caracas, Tyler McGregor, Greg Wynn Sr., Phil Liberty, the Vintage Mini Bike Podcast, and George Ackerman, George Camacho, Phil Liberty, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Thank you all for joining us here at Vintage Motocross Q&A tonight. I can only see so many of the names as I'm doing the show. But we know who you are, and we know you're there. Don't forget to keep sharing the show, and we'll get down to some more prizes and a lot of other cool stuff here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Where were we? We're already down to What's It Worth, aren't we? What's It Worth is brought to you by Full Circle Racing. Thank you, Tom McAllister, and Full Circle Racing. This week's bike, just a minute now, Joey, just a minute. This is the part of the show where I ask you, the viewers at home, to guess how much you think this bike recently sold for. It did sell in the last month. It just sold in the last month. It's a 1970 Taco Persang. You put in what you think it sold for. Whoever gets closest without going over will get yourself a couple of stickers. Compliments of Vintage Motocross Q&A. 1970 Bultaco Persang was acquired by the seller in 2023, subsequently underwent a refurbishment that included a repaint of the red and silver, along with an overhaul of the 244cc two-stroke engine. It has been fitted with a Mikuni carburetor and a single-plug FEMSA points-type ignition system, and additional equipment includes 21-inch front and 18-inch rear rims. A FEMSA points type? I think it's a FEMSA pointless ignition, isn't it? Anyway, it's got Bader shocks, a high mount fender, number plates, a crossbar pad as well. The MK4 Persang is now being offered in Virginia for off-road use only with a timing key, a Bultaco Persang parts catalog, service records, and a bill of sale. Metal surfaces were blasted on the bike. It was vapor honed. The bike has been refinished in red and silver with a clear coat during the refurbishment. The Bultaco badges have been replaced. The further equipment includes a black vinyl solo seat, green side number plates, a white front number plate, and a crossbar pad, as we mentioned just a little bit while ago. The 21 and 18-inch rear spokes are wearing a set of knobby Changshin tires, suspensions from a conventional fork. As mentioned earlier, a dual Vader shock is mounted to the swing arm. Brakes are drum front and rear. 240cc two-stroke single factory engine is rated at 34 horsepower. It was overhauled with a 1 millimeter oversized piston along with replacement seals and a kickstarter. Here's some good pictures of the bike here. It does have the FEMSA ignition. It is fitted with a Mikuni carburetor. The bike has not been started or ridden since the rebuild. I want to point out a couple of things that I saw here on this bike that disturbed me. One of them disturbed me a lot. Look at this hub. It's all dull. Looks like it was vapor blasted or sand blasted. It was never repainted around the black flange. The carburetor does not, I'm sorry, the plating on the axle and the snail adjusters doesn't look quite right. I think they did a nice job on the engine. You know, I'm willing to bet that the engine was sent to one person, the polishing was sent to another. The paint looks really nice. Looks like a Brian Fettigan job to me. I don't think it is. But everything looks nice, but the assembly, and I'm willing to bet that is on the seller's part. So without any further ado, you saw the bike, you saw the pictures. How much do you think the bike sold for? $4,000? $5,000? You think this bike went for like $9,000 because of recent Mecum sales and stuff like that? Wow, wow. This bike recently sold for $5,250. That's $5,250. Susie, we have anybody in that realm?
They're going to have to help me with this because I don't see anything from above Tom Ewing,
Okay,
the post.
so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over there, and I see 34,000 from George Baldwin, 5,800 from Phil Enriquez. It was 5,250, and then it says 5,250. But you know what? I'm going to give a little leeway for 5%, which would be another $250. So anybody 5,500. Ray Lindsay on the money at 5,500.
Ray Lindsay.
I am calling Ray Lindsay the winner in this race. Ray Lindsay, 5,500. Get us your mailing address, Ray, and we will get you some stickers, compliments of Vintage Motocross Q&A. Ray Lindsay, you're tonight's winner of the What's It Worth. You know something? It was something I wanted to bring up right at the beginning of the show. It was so important. I wanted to bring it up at the beginning and at the end. And here it is right here. Jeff Kakashi brought it to my attention. I knew a little bit about it from different sources, but it's very important that we mention it here on the show. Good morning, Joe. Although I don't have a segment for this week's Did You Know segment, I do have a public service announcement. If you are an AMA Life member, like me, you can vote for the Hall of Fame inductees. The voting for the 2025 Hall of Fame class ends Monday, June 16th. Chad Reed is on the ballot in the competition category, and show sponsor Motion Pro's Chris Carter and KTM's Selvaraj Narayana are in the non-competition category. Here we have a good picture of Selvaraj and Chris Carter. Selvaraj, a good friend and has been a supporter of some of the projects I have been involved with over the years. A great guy. Chris Carter, Motion Pro, sponsor of the show for like 5 years now. They are both in the non-compete. I don't want to say the non-compete clause. Here it is. They're in the non-competition category. So if you are a lifetime member, go over to the AMA website. You have between now and June 16th to put your vote in for either Selvaraj or Chris Carter. They are unfortunately in the same category, but both of those gentlemen have been in the industry for well over 50 years. Well over 50 years, okay? Be sure to vote for one of them. And I'll remind you again at the end of the show. A moment that I have been on the edge of my seat for since last week, probably one of the biggest announcements I've ever made at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Are you ready for this? Motorcyclist Illustrated and Michael McCook have a new logo. I know. Could you contain yourself? There it is. It's time for trivia.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
It's time. What's the matter now?
Hold on.
What?
Tom. Wait a minute.
What? I've got us both on camera. What's going on?
Thomas Ruma had 54.25, he said. So he was.
Roy had,
What did Ray have?
with the 5% added, he was at 5,500 on the money.
Oh, so he was 54.25.
What's his name?
Thomas Ruma.
Thomas Ruma.
You'll send it to Steve.
Because God loves a cheerful giver. If you send me your mailing address on my personal page, message me, I will send you a couple of stickers from Vintage Motocross Q&A. Okay? Okay. You know, I don't give like participation prizes here, but I try and keep people happy. What time is it? Everybody's favorite time. Trivia. That's right. And it is brought to you by Michael McCook at Motorcyclist Illustrated. Motorcyclist Illustrated does have this new logo. They are on Facebook, and it is a beautiful logo. I really like it, Mike McCook. And what Mike McCook has been giving us for, well, we'll be doing it for a while. That beautiful Racer X poster of Jimmy Weiner and Tony DeStefano. There it is right next to our beautiful hostess, Susie. So we will be going to play trivia right now, okay? Let's get back to my main screen here. And don't forget, this is a dial-in contest. I'm going to give you the number a little bit in advance. Call in trivia, 925-784-2195. That's 925-784-2195. Susie is standing by. Here is the question. He was the only racer to defeat Marty Smith at one 125cc National in 1975. He was the only racer to defeat Marty one time in 1975 at 125cc Nationals. Who was he? And I'm feeling extremely generous tonight. Here's a picture of him. You know why I did this? I took the number off the bike because I thought it might be a giveaway. There are some guys who were not 125 aces at that time, but Yamaha moved them down to compete with Marty. And this style of this picture and the bike and a few other things going on, it could be one of three different guys. If I put the number on the bike, you might have guessed who it was. Anyway, you got to call in. 925-784-2195. Only one person beat Marty Smith in 1975 at the Nationals. Who was it? Right now, we are going to move on to Dave's Classic Corner, one of my favorite parts of the show. Be sure to visit Dave at AMS, Arizona Motorcycle Salvage, or call him at 480-610-4574. Dave's got a lot of content going on Facebook these days. He's live somewhere all the time. But let's get down to it right now, and we'll see what kind of bike Dave brought to us this week. And Susie's got a phone ringing over there, but we're going to get to Dave's video. Okay, Dave from AMS. Here it is, right here. Susie's on the phone with somebody, and I don't think they have the answer just yet. But when they do, and we get back from this video with Dave Boyds, then we'll get to that. Okay, here we go.
Hi, this is Dave from AMS in sunny Arizona. Where's my water? This is a brand new C&J frame, actually probably like 4 years, but brand new, never been run, just assembly. I got this out of a state sale about 3 years ago. This is a post-vintage side center port 350. No idea what's in the engine. He had a vintage one, it was all done and it was really tricked out. This is powder-coated frame, relaced hubs with Excel rims. Looks like he's got the straight pipe thing set there, probably ready to put a megaphone on it. It has spark, and there's a carburetor on it. There's a head pipe. All the engine bolts are in. Everything's tidy. He had a 74 Elsinore front end on it, and the bike looked real stink bug. So I found this brand new pair of Marzocchis a couple years ago, and all you need to do is fab a bracket to stabilize the brake plate here to the torque arm. This is all brand new, whole wheel, everything. Mikuni carb shoved up inside there with a little filter on it. That's Works Performance shocks on it. Renthal bars. I put Mako fenders on it and said it is actually a 75 or so motor. I went ahead and painted it like a 75 Honda since the other one was done all green. This bike is available. It is not finished, but a right guy could finish this up in a weekend. It's a C&J framed 350 Honda XL for historic 4-stroke.
There you have it. Dave Boydston, that bike is for sale. You can get a hold of Dave. I gave you the number just a moment ago, but I'll give it to you again right now as soon as I find it. Here he is, AMS. Dave Boydston, 480-610-4574, or contact them at amsracing.com. Susie's on the phone in the other room with, I guess, people trying to guess the answer of the trivia contest. We're gonna move on with the show and wait for Susie to come back in here. And the next segment of our show is, of course, Here's the Problem, brought to you by Motion Pro. Be sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. I will give you the code a little bit later on to get 20% off across the board at motionpro.com. This is from Daniel Fittipelli. Now, here, let me read the question first. Hi. I have a Honda 75 Sierra 125, started fine last week. This week will not start. I have spark, put new fuel in at 20-to-1 mixture. Any thoughts? Thank you, Dan. I don't like to take these things too lightly because guys do watch the show when they send me stuff. And I always think to myself, maybe the guy's new to vintage. He's looking for a Dutch uncle, so to speak, somebody to put their arm over his shoulder and say, yeah, this may be the problem. So while this is a question we've all heard in our lifetime and we can't really tell without seeing the bike, I'm going to say this to you, Dan. A bike doesn't just run one week and maybe not run the next. And if it doesn't, it's generally an electrical problem or something that happened. Here's my guess, or here's what I would start with. Take the ignition cover off. If you just rode it last week, take the ignition cover off. If you washed it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was full of water. There's one of your problems. If that's not the problem, disconnect the kill switch. Then try and start it again. And just keep going backward till you get to the air filter and check some connections. Maybe a wire came loose when you put, I've seen connections come loose on bikes on a trailer. It's bouncing up and down on a trailer, going home, takes you 3 hours to get home. It's bouncing all the way up the turnpike. Next thing you know, a wire comes off. It happens. It could be something simple. Check it all, get back to me, let me know if we've put you in the right direction with that. Next question comes from Mike Berlanti. Hi, Joe. Hope you're doing well. Do you have any tips on restoring rims? I'm working on, do you have somebody? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get back to the Mike Berlanti question in just a second. But right now, we're going to put whoever is here on the phone with us. And you're live on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Who am I speaking with?
This is the killer, Rokon Don Kadowski.
Rokon Don Kadowski. He was the only guy to beat Marty Smith in the 125 Nationals in 1975. Who was he, Don? Don?
What happened to him?
Don.
Yeah, I'm here.
I didn't hear you. Say it again. Who was the guy?
Tim Hart.
You are absolutely correct. It was Tim Hart. Here's a picture of him right here. Don, we can get you. Oh, we're going to send you a poster.
Yeah.
That really cool poster from Mike McCook
Yeah.
and Motorcyclist Illustrated on Facebook. But yeah, that is the answer, Tim Hart. And you know, I put this picture up here, and I don't know if you can see it, Don, right now or not. But at that time, you know, Kawasaki put Weinert on a 125 the year before, and you had Tim Hart. And this riding style here, I thought it was a little kind of out of control, like not out of control, but sort of a Weinert style. Certainly not Pierre Carsmakers. He was a little more refined in his riding. But I thought it could have been anybody, and I thought I would have tricked a few people when they weren't thinking about 1975 and maybe thought about Hannah in 1976. But
Right. He did have a little bit of a wild style.
he did. But I can't fool you, Don Killer Kadowski. So you sit tight. Blessings to you and Denise, and we'll get you a poster. Compliments of Mike McCook and Motorcyclist Illustrated, okay?
Thank you, Joe and Sue. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now, there you have it. Don Killer Kadowski. Now, let's get back to our question from Mike Valenti. Hi, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Do you have any tips on restoring rims? I'm working on a 76 YZ125. I don't want to over polish them. I was thinking maybe hydroblast and the clear anodizing. What are your thoughts? Well, I think you're in the right direction, and you can hydroblast them to get off the anodizing. However, it's going to come out a little on the dull side, and you're going to have to polish them a little bit, but you don't want to over polish them. Let me give you another thought on this, and then we'll get back to the polishing part of it. It seems so simple. You're all going to go back to your childhood. Remember dyeing eggs with your mom and dad? All the eggs were white. You put food dye or food coloring, whatever it was, in a bowl. And when you pulled the egg out, it sort of looked green, blue, or purple, but it wasn't really, because you saw the white that was underneath. Correct? Same thing happens when it comes to anodizing, especially with silver anodizing. Well, actually, there is no silver anodizing. That's another myth. There is clear anodizing, and that's it. If you put enough clear on, enough clear coats, it does start to look silver. But what you want to do, Mike, is not over polish them. Yes, you can vapor blast them. I would recommend you do that. And then I would recommend buffing them, but just taking them to not a mirror finish. You know what I mean? Not quite a mirror finish. You'll see to where, how can I say it? Go look at a silver rim on a Honda, and you'll see that silver. You should look for that grayish silver in your polishing job, maybe a little bit shinier, if you want to get the look that was on the 1976 YZ125. And I don't think they were quite this shiny. I had a 76 YZ125 brand new. We all remember our first bike. We remember every detail about it. But if I'm not making myself clear here, give me a call and I'll walk you through it one more time. But I think I'm pretty close. That segment is brought to you by Motion Pro. Be sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. When you check out, put in the code MP9135. That's MP9135. And you will get 20% off from Motion Pro. Thank you, Fred Hudgens and Derf's Cycle Shop, as well as Russell Waters and Amsoil. Always giving us some really cool stuff here at Vintage Motocross Q&A to give away. Don't forget Amsoil, not just motor oil. They've got cleaners. They have lubricants of different types, even for you, Second Amendment guys, okay? They've got oil for you as well. Little idea I came up with a few weeks ago, about a month ago now, was a segment called Works for Me, something where Terry Good and I would sit down and talk about gas tanks. We've talked about magnesium carburetors. We've talked about a swing arm from the Roger DeCoster bike. And there was something else there too. I forgot what it was. But anyway, Terry was a little busy this week. I was off doing some other things, but I do have a video for you that you will not forget. It certainly does qualify for a Works for Me. So I'm going to bring it up right here. And for the next minute and a half or so, you'll be able to enjoy this video that was shot by Kevin Caldwell when we had a little party for the International Motocross Museum last fall, the supporter appreciation party that we had there out in Chicago. Let's take a look at this. One kid.
I'm sorry.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right.
It's kind of hard.
That's a good sign. That thing sounds cool. Look at that smile. Yeah, that's what we're
Very, very cool.
too cool. You're not on it yet. There you go.
Roger DeCosta's 1973 RH World Championship bike. Where are you ever going to get content like that? All those bikes run in the International Motocross Museum. You can go and put fuel in any one of them. Any one of them will fire up. Okay, we're going to take a short break here from the International Motocross Museum. Then we'll be back with a beautiful Husqvarna from Chris Lucas. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sue Fish. You are watching Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll be right back.
These are the comments from here to here. Well, what are we doing here? What's my thing?
What are you looking for?
My commercial.
Motocross struck America, coming from Europe like a lightning bolt, striking the hearts and minds of people all across the country and the world. Battles of intense racing and cutting rivalries with loyalty to brands and heroes intensified as years of blood, sweat, and dirt flew through the minds of those memories of champions as they wrestled their machines through almost impossible tracks. But where are those past champions? And where are their bikes? Terry Good, an ex-pro motocross racer, has made it his life mission to honor these heroes and the bikes they rode to stardom. We raced, we rode, we lived and breathed motocross. Go back in time and relive those moments, now preserved for the first time ever in the world's first museum dedicated to the history of motocross. Our new building is in the gate. Help us get a great start and you can be part of history. Go to internationalmotocrossmuseum.org and become a part of our team.
After me, everybody. The International Motocross Museum is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Be sure to visit them online at internationalmotocrossmuseum.org. Anything you purchase or donate to the International Motocross Museum is 100% tax deductible. Very, very good, class. I love you guys. Susie has an announcement for us. Susie, baby, what do you got?
I have a viewer appreciation prize of grip.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Paul Steiner. That's been pretty tough. My tongue is tied.
Yeah, not so easy, is it?
Right. Preston Petty product
Yeah.
is W.J. Harriger. W.J. Harriger.
W.J. Harriger.
Please message Joe with your address so we can get those grips out to you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay?
W.J. Harriger.
Right.
Message me on my personal page. Send me your address. I will give it to Paul Steiner. You will get a beautiful, unused set of grips, compliments of Preston Petty products. Okay? I also have to thank Sunrise Vapor Blasting, FastGuyStuff.com, and Ben's Vintage Mini Bike Podcast for all the support they give us here at the show. They do give us some stickers and they do some vapor blasting for us. And I don't know what Ben does for me. He's just a nice guy.
Yeah.
What else we got going on here? Oh, it's coming up. You saw I had an interview on here last week with Ed Chestnut. The Bad Rock Ride is happening on in Weston, Oregon, June 27th. This is, of course, is part of Hodaka Days. This is a 3-day event, June 26th. Actually, it's 4 days, 26th, 27th, 28th, and 29th. They have an abundance of sponsors, tons of stuff to give away, lots of cool stuff from Hodaka's, including some factory bikes, and they have the parade down Main Street. Fun will be had by everybody. You got to get up there once in your life if you're a Hodaka fan to Hodaka Days. The Motor Showcase is brought to you by Preston Petty Products. We just talked about them giving us some grips. Thank you, Paul Steiner, for all the support you've given us here at the show for all these years. This bike comes to us from Chris Lucas. Look at that thing. 1972 Profab Husky with a 71X code works engine. Well, excuse me. This may be the only one of the big case X code works engines you'll ever see. The bike has a Profab frame, swing arm, triple clamps, brake stay, titanium axles, and hardware. The front forks have been machined down on the bike and also has a Lida Works tank, Girling shocks, shoulderless rims, and McGregor controls. The X-Code engine is very trick. The cylinder and head are very special with very large reed valves welded in that is half custom and half Mossbarger with a custom piston to match. The center cases have been modified and the clutch has been lightened and the crank modified to rev quicker, and it also helps stop faster. The engine is over 6 pounds lighter than stock. Whoa. To hear and feel this bike run is like no other Husky you will ever experience. It's amazing to me, and over the years, how the bikes in this collection have found me. They all have a story. For me, this bike is about as cool as it gets. This bike will be on my Meekum list for January 26th. P.S. The tank I got from you is now in at paint, and the bike will be done in 4 to 6 weeks. It's not likely you have ever seen one like this. I will send it to you for the show before I put it out for the world to see. The bike will be fun and deadly at all times. Chris Lucas, this Husky is off the hook, brother. A works type engine with the correct numbers on it. Half Mossbarger, half. Look at the lighter tank on it. This thing is unbelievable. You know, a lot of cool bikes have come out of the Lucas collection over the years, but this thing, I gotta say, Chris, this is something just unbelievable. For sending that bike, and I know you guys have got a lot of little presents and gifts from us over the years that we've given away. If there's something that special that you want, Chris Lucas, let me know, and I will get it to you. All right? Maybe you want to. How about an apron for the shop? You want an apron? Give me your mailing address. I may even have it here. I'll get you a nice apron. Okay? Cool stuff here at Vintage Motocross Q&A this week. Did you know that Jeff Kokoski is away on some type of sabbatical? He won't even tell me what it is. He's on double secret probation. He will be back in weeks to come. However, the Did You Know segment is brought to you by Bultaco East. Thank you, Steve Grandis. It is Steve Grandis' birthday today as well. Be sure to get over to bultacoeast.com. There are always specials for Vintage Motocross Q&A. But, of course, the question is, did you know? Did you know that there was a Japanese cartoon, okay, called Michel Vaillant, okay? This was sort of like a Speed Racer. Remember Speed Racer? Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels. Of course. This was a Japanese cartoon, and you say, well, okay, fine. Somebody must have made a bike afterward that looks like that. Could that be possible? Well, I can't believe it, but here it is. And I'm going to give you a little background on this cartoon first. Michel Vaillant is a French car racing comic series created in 1957 by French cartoonist Jean Graton and published originally by Lee Lombard. Later, Graton published the albums by himself when he founded Graton Editeur in 1982. Michel Vaillant is the main character in the Epitomis series, a French racing car driver who competes mainly in Formula One. This is where it gets really, really interesting. The series appeared in Tintin between 57 and 76 in France, as well as in Belgium. An estimated 17 million copies of the series albums have been sold. I cannot find one thing on the motorcycle end of this. This is really weird because somebody actually went and built a motorcycle. All right, and here's another half of this. The Vaillart's motorcycle is specifically a 1970 Vaillantais 250 MX, a French factory motocross bike, and it says it was developed by Joël Robert. I talked to Terry Good about this, and of course, Joël is gone. Terry was very, very close with him, but I didn't hear anything back from Terry that said anything about this bike. It is notably associated with the Michel Vaillant comic, and he won a race on the bike, supposedly in the USA in the comic. Additionally, there were some limited numbers of BMW bikes and they were raced in this cartoon as well. The 1970 Vallon 250 MX. There it is. And if you look closely on this bike, I looked at look right here. It's a twin pipe single cylinder, much like your CZ or your 67 RH 250 Suzukis. But look at the way the pipes go up under what are the side panels with that number 13 on it. They go behind those panels, and these heat shields down the side, which are present on both sides of the bike, are there for aesthetics. Doesn't really look like it prevents your leg from being burned by the pipes, because the pipes are sort of inboard on that bike. Anyway, there you have it. It was a Japanese cartoon. It turned into a real bike called a Valente 250. Supposedly Joe Robert had something to do with it, but did you know about it? Well, now you know.
Now you know.
I also want to thank Sirius Studio. Some of the finest off-road gear in all of motocross. Great hats, shirts, bags, some really soft cottony shirts and hoodies. And thank you, Larry Winter and the boys down there in North Carolina, for being great supporters, or sponsors rather, of Vintage Motocross Q&A. This Week in Motocross History is brought to you by Racer X Magazine. Get them online right now at Racer X, or you could go right to the newsstand. Get yourself a copy of Racer X. All the events that I am about to tell you happened on this very day, June 4th. First one's in 1977. At the New Orleans Superdome, Team Honda's Marty Smith won the AMA 250cc Supercross main event over Yamaha's Bob Hanna and Can-Am's Jimmy Ellis. This would turn out to be the last AMA Supercross win of Smith's AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame career. Just as interesting, that night there were 8 different brands of bikes on the line: Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Bultaco, Mako, Husqvarna, and Can-Am. All those bikes were on the line that night. June 4th, 1978, finish. And I'm talking about a man from Finland, not the finish line. Finnish Yamaha rider Heikki Mikkola won the FIM 500cc US Grand Prix at Carlsbad, California, with a 3-1 moto score, topping the 1-3 of German maker rider Herbert Schmitz on combined times. US title hopeful Brad Lackey finished second in the second moto aboard his works Honda, but unfortunately Lackey DNF'd in the first moto. 1989, Kawasaki's Jeff Ward won a rare daytime AMA Supercross at Oklahoma City, but it wasn't enough to keep Jeff Stanton of Honda from winning the 1989 AMA Camel Pro Supercross Championship. Stanton finished 6th in the Oklahoma City to clinch his first and what will turn out to be his 6th AMA Supercross 250 Motocross Championships. Hence the nickname 6-time. There you have it. This Week in Motocross History. I got some announcements for you. First up on the board, I mentioned it earlier. Get over to AMA.com. Vote for either Selvaraj, Marignana, or Chris Carter. Both of them are in the non-competitive category for an achievement award, or being being inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame. On June 26th and 27th, guess who the Grand Marshal is at Vintage Motorcycle Days in Ohio? You got it, Brad Lackey. And it's a really cool thing because the mark being celebrated this year is the Suzuki. So you get a chance to meet the champ, and if you have a Suzuki, he'd probably be more than happy to autograph it for you. How many sponsors do we have at Vintage Motocross Q&A? Look at that wall back there. Ask about our revised sponsorship opportunities. We have even lower rates for 2025, and we've got something for every budget here at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you, Racer X International Motocross Museum, Motion Pro, Vinco, Dave Boydston, Sirius Studios, Bultaco, East, Preston Petty Products, and Full Circle. Got a couple more announcements, too. Got some good races coming up. Got a vintage and youth and evolution and a women's race that happens this weekend, June 7th and 8th, Wildwood Rose, Rossville, Indiana. The gates open on Friday. There's racing on Saturday and on Sunday. What else is happening? I am going to this. If it's the last thing I do and I have to hitchhike because there is no train going from San Francisco to LA just yet, although it's been promised and billions of dollars has been spent. But I digress. The Carlsbad MX reunion happens on June 22nd. Okay, that is at is that Booze Brothers, Susie?
Yeah.
It's at Booze Brothers. Okay, and that is down there in San Diego County. Debbie Burnworth continues on with this event that was started by Scott many years ago. So there it is, June 22nd. I will be there, and you never know who's going to pop in to the Carlsbad reunion. I've seen DeCosta there, Ricky Johnson every year, David Bailey, Donnie Hanson. A lot of the gifts and the prizes are amazing. It's an incredible atmosphere. There's a bike show, and it's really laid back with a lot of room. A lot of room to talk, a lot of room to reminisce, get a look at a lot of cool bikes. Norm Francis will be there. He's always got some great machines as well. Brock Glover, okay? Try and make it down there to Booze Brothers. I forget the name of the city. Where is that?
No, that's not the name of the city.
Oh, no, Booze Brothers. Isn't that the name of the joint?
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of the town? It's in.
Let me look. Hold on. Give me a minute.
Okay, look, we'll here. You want me to do this?
I got it. It's in Oceanside.
Is it Oceanside?
Yeah.
Okay, Oceanside.
Booze Brothers Brewery.
Booze Brothers Brewery in Oceanside.
California, 606 Mission Avenue.
Okay. Now listen, if you were a winner on the show tonight, Don Kadowski and whoever else, I can't remember because I'm doing the show. Susie has it written down. Send me your address on my personal page. I will get you the grips from Preston Petty. You'll get some stickers, 2 guys, 1 stickers. And that poster goes to Don Kadowski. Okay. That wraps it up for Vintage Motocross Q&A this week. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Let me get Gino.
You want to get Gino?
Yeah.
All right.
You know me.
Yeah, well, he's a big gabagol. He's a big ham. Come on, Gene.
There we go.
Come on, boy. Come on. Come on.
Where are you going?
Well, the chair is too close. You can't jump up.
Oh.
Come on, Gene. Come on. Oh, okay.
Yay.
All right.
Ham bone.
That wraps it up for this week on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Who supports the show, don't forget to go and vote for our AMA inductions here. 2 great guys, Selvaraj and Chris Carter. We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Tom McAllister, if you're watching the show, you pay me good money every month to be a sponsor, and I forgot to run your commercial.
I get asked often, what's the most important thing on Clunker? Answer's simple, it's me. That's why I use Full Circle Racing wheels prepped by Tom McAllister. So should you. Watch this and learn why. When racing vintage motocross where suspension is very limited, your wheels can be the difference between winning or serious injury. We chose to run Full Circle Racing wheels because of the super high quality materials and the heavy duty spokes used. Prepped by Tom McAllister, I have the confidence on the track to push way harder through the rough stuff and the bigger jumps, knowing my wheels are going to stay under me. Hey, Clunker may be 50 years old, but his wheels are brand new, and yours should be too. Call Tom McAllister at Full Circle Racing today.
This is Joe Abbate. We'll see you next time on Vintage Motocross Q&A.